Hi, folks. It's Keith Beardsley, VE3SVQ, and now that I'm doing more and Morse code, VA3KEI. And if you knew how to send all those letters in Morse code, you'll know why I like the KEI one. Anyways, I just thought I'd do a quick update. So this would be update number 2 on learning Morse code. The first one I did was roughly 5 months ago. And don't take that as an example of how long it takes you to learn Morse code. You can do this in, a couple of months if you want, if you put the effort in. It's all about effort. Effort and practice. That's really what it boils down to. Anyway, so I did say I would do an update. And yes, I've definitely come a long way in it. I'm surprised actually how far. Don't forget, as I mentioned at one point, I learned the old fashioned way back in 1990, 91, back in then. People would hold up flashcards and you'd have to, look at the dots and dashes and see the letter, or they would send it at 5 words per minute, which will just about put you to sleep. But at 5 words or even 10 words a minute, you can count every dot and dash and figure out the letter. Now, back then, I think the Americans required 5 words per minute for their basic license and then 10 after. And Canada, of course, to be different, required 7 words per minute. And I believe it was 12 after. So you have to pick up your pace quite a bit. But the method of teaching was essentially memorizing those dots and dashes. Everyone today says, no, you don't do it that way. So there's an awful lot of us old folks out there who learned it that way, hated it, and really never did CW or Morse code. CW being the abbreviation for Morse code. And it's a shame because it's a lot of fun when you get into it. And the difference now is they're treating it as a language. So when you're listening to the sound of the letter, you're listening like you would to a new language. As a matter of fact, it uses the same part of your brain as when you learn a new language. So the teaching methods have changed and they're a lot more fun, I have to say that. Now, the stumbling block in the 1990s, like I said, was counting dots and dashes. And you just can't memorize it. You have to hear it. It's a language. So there are different organizations out there. I mentioned some previously, the Long Island CW Club. Is one of the best. Just amazing teachers. Now they've recently revised their curriculum or their program, so they've adjusted it a little bit. Now, when you listen to one of their classes, and all of their classes are on Zoom, so it's pretty easy. And you can be in a class with, I've been in classes with people from, well, obviously the US, Canada, France, Britain, Australia, Belgium, Spain, Malta. You never know who's going to be in your class, so it's a lot of fun. And the instructors are absolutely excellent. They're very patient. But part of their curriculum that they've changed is they now include sending practice in each lesson, which I think is wonderful because that's really one of your weak spots. You can listen to it, but you have to know how to send it, and you have to be able to send it so someone else can understand what you're sending. So in this case, they've made that change. Uh, there's also the CW Ops Academy, which is excellent. They have a lot of good stuff. They even have short sort of contests, 1 hour contests when you can go in and you know make your first contact, because that is, in the end, that's the biggest stumbling block, I think, for most people, even me, is to find who will let you send them a message or who will let you answer them at whatever speed you can do, because when you're nervous, um, you know speed and accuracy can go to hell, basically. So that's the issue for me right now. That's the point I'm at. Now, when you look at the curriculum, I started on the LCWO net, and their recommendation was 20 words per minute for the letters, and then you could adjust the space between the letters to roughly 15 words per minute. And that's what I started with. And then when I went to the Long Island Club, I found that, oh my goodness, they're a lot slower. And that sort of messed up my brain a little bit because they were sending them in their first level class. It was that uh, the letter was coming at 12 words per minute, and the words per minute, the spacing was 8 words per minute, and then the beginner class 2 was 12 and 10, and beginner class 3 was adjusted to 15 and 12. So coming from what I was doing, which was up around 20 and 15, I found it very, very slow. And it messed with my head a little bit because I found myself, especially in the first level, the 12 and 8, the BC1 level, I found myself listening for dots and dashes, and which is what you're not supposed to do. But you talk to one of your instructors, and he said, "Well, when you go into the practice page, simply change it, set it up for the higher speed," which is what I've done. And all of a sudden, I'm back on track again. So these are things you look at. The big thing with all of this, as we get into it more and more, is the instant character recognition. In other words, someone can send a letter your way, whatever speed. It can be 30 words per minute speed, and your ear will pick it up and say, I know what that is. And then you can start working on words and listening for entire words, because there are only so many words people use in Morse code, especially when you're going back and forth with an exchange. So that's the point I'm at now, is listening to all of that. And there's some, like I say, there's so many videos out there. There's some excellent ones. Um, what's his name there? Kurt Zogelman has some very good ones for instant character recognition on YouTube, and they're superb. They can certainly get your ear tuned to it. But yes, now there's also organizations out there, for instance, the SKCC, or Straight Key Century Club. Get it right? Which helps you get into this. You can actually, work yourself up to the point you're ready to go online, and you can post on one of their scheduling pages and say, I need someone I'd like to make my first contact with. Someone's going to reply. Some of these other contests, there's the K1 USN, 1 hour contest where the maximum speed anyone can go is 20 words per minute. And if they're contacted by someone slower, then they have to slow down to that speed. So there's another great one to make your first contacts. So that's really where we're at. Now I'm looking at what am I going to use. So in my case, it's going to be a straight key to start with. And now, when a lot of people start off, and including in some of these classes, they're using what's called a Morse code oscillator. So this is basically one of them. And this is an MFJ one now. This is from 1990. So, that's what it's meant. You can adjust the tone, the volume to different things. But the idea here is that you practice your sending on that. For those of us who have a radio, a lot of the radios are set up so you can practice Morse code right on your radio. You don't have to go through that stuff, and you can hear the difference. That would be an example. That's coming through from my radio. So you can do that without actually sending. There's a way you can set up your radio so you can do it without sending. And what I found over the time that I've done this, and they always tell you to start with a straight key. Some people don't. Some people go right into a paddle or something like that. I mean, I've got both actually. I have my fancy one, which, if I can get it around here, is this one here. And you've got your paddles here. When you press the paddles a certain way, boom, you'll get a sound. You'll get your Morse code. To give you an example, so it's basically the dits and the daws work off of these two paddles. One is the daw, or the dash. The other is the dot, or the dit. So it's more like this. that's how it works. A lot of people love these. I haven't gotten into it all that much at this point. I'm still working on the straight key. So this is basically what we call a straight key. This is your old-fashioned, if you want to use that term, Morse code key. And they're a lot of fun, I have to say. So again, you push this down, that's what you get. So it's really up to you. And there's other ones as well that certainly the Long Island Club introduces you to all the different types. And it can be a lot of fun. I found, for my part, I'm beginning to enjoy the straight key, which is why I joined the Straight Key Century Club, because they promote the use of the original Morse code key. And for whatever reason, I'm beginning to find it's a lot of fun. And, even you got to learn to send, and you got to learn your spaces and everything else. But I'm getting to enjoy it. So this is where we're at. My biggest thing right now is to get on the air and make some contacts. And I've got to find an opportunity to do so. The Slow Morse Club is one that's out there that certainly I belong to. There are others as well. All there to promote Morse code, which is coming back to life and is having a huge revival now as people realize that in bad conditions, when you can't get through with voice, you can still get through with Morse code. So old is new again. Here we go. Keith Beardsley, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor Quebec, and Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Echo India. Hope you enjoyed this short update. Have a great day. And 73.